All right, this is a very common question in one of our days. So, dear Mattsons, how do you explain homosexuality to your kids? Our children see it everywhere, and I'm not sure how to explain it. As a Christian family, we want to love everyone, but we also want our family to stand on the truth that God's design for sexual relationship is the best design. Sincerely, so unsure. Okay. The reality is that anything we share about this question is going to trigger or offend or be confusing to someone who's listening. So we're asking that you hear what we share with a message of grace. So we're speaking specifically to this parent who believes deeply in God's design and is really wanting to teach their children how to love everyone and yet explain homosexuality. So really, and we are from Oregon. It's something we've been dealing with since our girls were tiny. I remember those videos that our girls would watch, the normal shows that we would turn on. Yeah. They would get their TV time. And I would see the same-sex parents on the shows. It's a common part of what kids are watching every day. Our daughters were 3, 4. So at that age, we're having to already start talking about the difference between mom and dad and God's design in Genesis versus what we see even on TV and around them. And then in kindergarten, our oldest, Adonaiah, came home. One of her very first questions from public school was, Mommy, Daddy, there are friends at school who are talking about having 2 moms. So it is a normal place to have to talk to our kids. And what we're going to say is just, talk about it all the time.
That's right.
Everywhere, anywhere. Explain that that's what homosexuality is 2 people of the same gender in relationship with one another. And as they get older, we talk about being in sexual relationship with one another. And then being able to compare that all the time between what God's design is from Genesis 2, between Adam and Eve. All right, I'm going on and on. What would you like to say?
Yeah, this topic needs to be handled with care, but with intention. And talking to your kids about this and normalizing what's being normalized for them with your kids is not affirming something here, but it's simply saying, yeah, that's what you're seeing. We're seeing it too. And we're seeing more and more and more of this. And you will see more and more and more of this. And here's the difference. And first, it's important to affirm again that all people, what you do want to affirm is that all humans are worthy of dignity and respect.
Yes.
And so you affirm that.
That is a biblical worldview.
And that's loving, and that's a biblical worldview, as you just described. But at the same time, then you want to contrast it with what God talks about in relationship. And Genesis 2 paints a clear picture about this, his design and his purpose. And I think that we use the term brokenness because we're all broken, right? And we include ourselves and everyone in that space in our understanding of God's design. We're broken without him. And here's an example of brokenness. And here's examples of brokenness in us. And we need God's help to repair. And the good news about that is that God takes a long view on that. And it's harder for us. We want to see that change quickly.
Yeah.
But we've been encouraged and challenged to remember that he has a long view in mind as it relates to what that looks like.
Yeah, I love that you use the word brokenness because that is the way we're constantly talking with things with our daughter all the way into their teen years, to talk about it is human nature for all of us to try to meet our needs in our own way. And that homosexuality from our worldview is a way that we're trying to meet our needs in our way. That's in Genesis, even the chapter 3 of the fall. Eve tries to meet her own desires and her own needs in her own way rather than trusting God with his ways and his design. And that is the temptation for all of us. So it's really not making homosexuality the issue. Yeah. It's just putting it under the umbrella of all the things that humanity struggles with. And we struggle, our kids are going to struggle. And it normalizes the fact that we all desperately need God. And really the challenge is on day to day is to trust God with who he says he is and who he says we are and to live out of that. And so that's the message that we always come back to. Yeah. We're talking with our girls all the time, day in, day out of what they see. And as parents to be really intentional about having those conversations, because if you don't, they're going to go Google it or they're going to talk to their peers and they're going to get misinformation. And so continue to be the trusted guide for them. We're so grateful to get to come alongside you.
Yeah. If you're enjoying this content, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and remember that you're the right parent for this job, and we're here cheering you on.